Welcome everybody to a cargo ship. Today we're going to be giving you guys a tour of this enormous vessel. Last year I sailed across the Atlantic on a cargo ship called the MSC HUGH, and I showed you guys an amazing tour of that cool vessel. This year we're on a giant cargo ship called the Grimaldi Grande Mediterraneo, which is even bigger than the ship we sailed with last year. This ship not only carries cargo boxes, but it also carries vehicles of all shapes and sizes. So this tour of the cargo ship is going to go an in-depth look at the entire ship. We're talking top to bottom, every room, every corner, everything that we could possibly show you without getting caught and kicked off the boat. Right now we're at the top of the bridge. That's where we're going to begin this tour. And also two things I want to mention. One is that we're in a storm at the moment. It's going to affect a little bit the way we move around the ship today because we're going to be bouncing all over the place because the waves are a little high. And the second thing I want to mention is the fact that I do not work on a cargo ship. I solely travel on them every once in a while, but I do not work here. I am not an employee. So I want to show you guys from an aspect of a traveler what it's like to visit this ship, but there are rooms that we are not allowed to enter because we aren't employees, and there's certain things that we're not allowed to show because we don't work here. With that said, let's begin the tour. So to begin, the top part of this cargo ship is actually a mix between the bridge and actually a cargo area. As you can see here, there's a bunch of little hooks that cars actually hook onto because one of the main imports and exports of this cargo ship is actually vehicles. What they do is actually strap a strap to the wheel of the car, to the base of the car, and they actually strap it in with the different hook spots. So they have them all the way down, stretching for however long this ship is. So what we're standing on right now is actually the wing of the bridge. On the bridge, there's actually two wings, one on the left, one on the right, that each have a big compass on the side of them where the crew can actually look and see the direction that they're going in. As well, they have little screens, little plasma screens that tell them the distance that we are from our objective, the speed that we're going, and a bunch of other little utilities that they need to know. These wings are an awesome area for a traveler like me to come sit and look at the ocean. It is the front of the ship, the bow as it's known, and you can come look off and see the ocean, where you're heading to, where you're gonna go. It is my favorite area of the ship by far. And last year when I sailed across the Atlantic, this is where I sat and spent hours just listening to music, doing yoga, exercising, whatever it would be out here in the sun. As well, they actually have these interesting little boxes on each side that are kind of like sheltered from the wind because you're here in the front. When you stand over the edge, the wind gets crazy. It'll blow you away. So you need to maybe have a little protection in these boxes. So behind me right here is actually the ship's hospital. There is a little bit of a hospital. It's like a medical room with basic supplies just in case any injuries happen. And it's right here, faced right behind the bridge's office. So you can come here and visit it just in case you're sick or if you're not feeling good or if a serious injury happens. As well, there is a ladder reaching up to the top part of the ship, which we're gonna show you right now, which is where a lot of the important instruments of the ship exist. All right, so we are up on the top part of the ship right now. This is the highest level you can go as a passenger for sure. And this is where you get, first of all, an amazing view of the entire area. You get the most epic view of the surrounding, especially when you're in port. It actually doesn't look that high right now because we're in the ocean and we're moving, or in the sea and we're moving. But when you actually get into port, this is where you get an amazing view of the locations you're in. As well, this is the place where they have most of the important electronics and communication tools that they have on the ship, like a radar behind us. They have some satellites in the area and other communication radio tools that they need to be able to navigate the ship. All right, so right by me right now is actually the flagpole. This is where every time we come into port, they actually switch the flag to the country that we're entering. So when we entered Israel, they switched it to the Israeli flag, Cyprus, the Cypriot flag, and when we'll go into Italy, they'll switch it to the Italian flag as well. It's an awesome process because actually down in the bridge, they have a bunch of different rows where they have different flags for every nation that they go to. As well, this is where I mentioned the most incredible view of the ship is. It is absolutely beautiful from here. So up here on the top deck as well, they have a giant satellite and a bunch of fans. And actually these fans bring in air from the kitchen sometimes. So it actually smells like food up here all the time, which is really fascinating. So on either side of the ship, we actually have two lifeboats. They're both really bright orange and they can fit about 40-ish people. It's amazing. It's a really large structure on the inside. We actually got to visit the inside of it yesterday. Here's a little clip of that. So we're currently in the lifeboat. Wow. This is what it looks like. Damn, this is crazy. Check this out, guys. This is where the captain of the lifeboat would go. That's nice. Steering it. Oh, you're doing maintenance on the ship? Wow. This is cool. And they are here to be used in emergency use as well. The boat has, I think, 4 other life rafts that each fit like 22 people. So they are really set here in case of an emergency. And these lifeboats are straight up like boats. They have motors that they can drive. They can go for a while. So this ship is set up in a very interesting manner because it's like one giant parking garage on the top as well. So we are leaving right now the bow of the ship and we're heading off to the stern, which means the back of the ship. And we're gonna show you guys what it looks like. Welcome to the stern of the ship. This is where the magic happens. This is where we board, cars board, we leave, cars leave, cargo leaves. This is where it all happens. Now the interesting thing about this ship specifically, it is not set up like a normal cargo ship. There's not a crane that comes and puts cargo on here. It actually is a giant parking garage, a giant floating parking garage where cars drive themselves up. Behind me is the door that actually opens sideways into the port with a little ramp. Also, the way the cargo ship is painted is very different than many other cargo ships I've seen. It's painted in a very white and yellow fashion. From here, you could actually see the trail that the cargo ship leaves for miles behind, which is insane. Right now, it's not such a clear day, so you can't really see it to that much of a distance. But on a clear, open day, it actually just stretches out for miles beyond. So actually the ship is actually equipped with life preservers as well on every angle. Has the name of the ship and a little torch device that when it falls in the water, it actually shines bright just in case. And they're all over the ship, perfectly here for safety just in case there's a man overboard. So actually over here on the back of the ship, this is one of the most interesting spots. There's a little hooded garage right behind me that where the cars can actually move their way up here to the top spot of the garage. We actually haven't seen any cars up here on the top of the garage during our journey, but we're assuming that all these spots are here for more and more cars to come. This behind me is also the exhaust of the ship. And that's the last thing we have to cover here on the top deck. We're gonna head on in. So these are the stairs taking us down to the accommodation area from the top deck. It is an important thing to note, when on a cargo ship, the area is a workplace. It is like an office. So it is dirty and gritty and people work here. There's oil on spots, there's rust on different spots, there's dirt and paint all over the place. So you have to keep that in mind. It is not a clean cruise ship environment. It is very much a workplace. All right, so it's getting real cloudy outside, so we're gonna head on into the accommodation area. This is the area where we sleep as passengers, where the crew sleeps, and where some of the offices and different important rooms in the ship are. Behind every one of these windproof, solid, really heavy doors, you gotta enter, and then there's another kind of airlock that you enter through there. So we're gonna head on in. All right, so here we have the mess room. This is the first room on the hallway after you enter. And this is where we have dinner. I've showed this off in many places already, and we actually have a food guide for the cargo ship that you can check out. This is where we eat our food. This is where the chef delivers his amazing dishes, and it's all right here. The dynamic of this room I've already explained, but I'll repeat it again for the sake of this video. We actually are split up into different tables. This is where the Italian crew of the ship eat. This is where the captain and the chief mate and the chief engineer, this is where they all sit and dine. And we are actually split up into this area. This is where the passengers sit and eat. It's nice because we get to experience a cross kind of barrier dining experience where we all eat together in the same room, and we get to chat sometimes and talk about how the day's going. Right here, through these double doors, we actually have kind of our relaxation room and chill out room. We have a TV here, different puzzles and games, cards, books, and a nice little window with plants, which is a nice place to look out. This is where you can come and relax and just kind of chill and take it back a notch if you want to take a little break and chill on the cargo ship. Welcome to the hallway of the cargo ship. We are going to be working our way down to our room, our accommodation. The cool thing to notice is that there's a bunch of diagrams of the ship here. We can actually look at the maps in the different rooms. I think they're separated into different floors, which is interesting because you can look at how the ship is actually built. But you have this going all the way down to your accommodation. Welcome on board, ladies and gentlemen. So we have made it to our accommodation, to our room. I'm going to show you guys a little sneak peek on the inside of what it looks like to sleep on a cargo ship. Welcome in. Welcome to our room. This is where we stay and live and breathe and sleep. The accommodation of every cargo ship varies differently, and it depends on the amount you pay and what room you choose. We chose the cheapest of the cheap. This was the cheapest accommodation available for this specific ship. It is very basic accommodation, nothing super fancy schmancy, but to give you guys a little look around, we have 2 beds, we have a desk, we have a closet, we have a cabinet, and we have an awesome little bathroom, shower, toilet situation with a sink and a mirror. It's very basic accommodation, nothing more than like a 3 or 2 star hotel. I will say that once again, it is an office environment, it is more of a workspace environment, so the place is very dirty and gritty, and you have to be open to the idea of staying in something like this if you want to come and stay on a cargo ship. Alright, so another thing I wanted to show you guys that's included in the room is actually an immersion suit, which you can see here. That's what it looks like when 2 idiots put on an immersion suit. As well, you get a life vest and a helmet. That way you are prepared for whatever emergencies may occur, and you can even whistle for help. So just right by our room, there's actually the entrance to the wheelhouse, which is also the bridge office. This is another way to get up there from here instead of going from the outside of the ship. So just down the hall, we actually have the gym, which is where you can come get your workout on. It is very important for the crew of the cargo ship to have adequate time to exercise and work out and get their mind off of work as well. And so there's plenty of amenities here, like a treadmill, bicycle machine, weights, whatever you really need, and most importantly, foosball. We have foosball. Okay, and since this ship is Italian, we actually have to read these in Italian and understand which room is which. This is lavanderia, which means the laundry room. We have washing machines and dryers and a bunch of sheets and blankets and towels for the entire ship and crew, and it actually shows you that the accommodation is pretty well. You can come and, oh man, you can come and actually clean your sheets and clean your laundry and your clothes and whatever you need to clean, you got it here in lavanderia. This is another one of those super important areas here on the ship. It's actually a spiral staircase that goes from the deck 10, which we live on, where the accommodation is, all the way to the bottom, through all the different cargo areas, from deck 9 all the way down to deck 1. And if you look over here, it goes all the way down there. It is crazy deep. This ship is massive, and that's not an understatement at all. So this is the main center column of the cargo ship. This is that takes you to all the different parking garage levels and cargo levels. Right now we're working our way out to the outside of the ship. All right, so this is actually the beginning first level of the parking garages. This is where cars are parked. It's an insane place. There's tons of vehicles, and it just goes for floors and floors and floors all the way below the water. It is a really, really, really cool location. So this is the giant cargo park. This is where they park all the cars. It's an enormous garage, and they have tons of vehicles here. Usually it's filled to the brim. Just an example for you to see. This is one of the levels of the parking lot with cars in it. And this is the last level of the cargo ship. The last part of this cargo ship tour. This is what it looks like. This is the entrance, the exit. This is the hull. This is where everything comes on board. And that is all, folks. That is what a cargo ship looks like. That's every room as a passenger that we were allowed to enter during this cargo ship journey. We did have restrictions on the bridge and the engine room, which were 2 rooms that I was actually able to go in my last cargo ship journey. So if you haven't seen that yet, make sure that you check it out. Make sure that if you're new here, you're subscribed with notifications turned on so you don't miss any of these cargo ship videos, because there's a bunch coming out on every aspect of cargo ship travel. There'll be links in the description to the playlists and all around here for playlists on the cargo ship videos that I've made in the past. This was hands down one of my favorite videos to film. It was a lot of work to do, but I think it really shows you guys a lot of insight into the massive scale of this ship. Make sure you also check out my buddy Hugh, who was helping me film this entire video. It would not be possible without him. Thank you so much, Hugh, for helping out. And I'll see you guys next time. I love you. Long, long time, Clatts. A good bye.